if you go in there and you don't know what's going on, you can't just go right to the demon theory.
People who are seeking paranormal help, the ones who are reaching out to teams and saying, I think I have something in my house, and we always worry about the ones that are attention getters, and that's what their whole purpose is. But I think that also happens with some of these paranormal research groups and investigators too, where they're coming in and they're just trying to make themselves look good or make themselves feel good, and maybe it's maybe they're faking it, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're just wrong about their abilities or what have you. But it seems like there's a good chance that investigators can come in and almost attach something onto somebody by doing things the wrong way or by doing things for the wrong reasons, that they can kind of come in and conjure up this negativity and then leave it behind when they go home.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, it's been quite a few times where I've gone in after, and I'm talking some very well-known, famous, if you will, investigators and demonologists and stuff like that, who went in there and did just that. And a lot of times, because they want the evidence, they want this, they want that, the other thing they want, that they spend so much time on evidence. Evidence is great, but here's what I don't like to do when I'm in there to help somebody who's actually being attacked. Evidence is the last thing on my mind, because if I'm trying to seek evidence, I'm also giving attention to this entity, and I'm giving it more power. So I don't even focus it when somebody's really being attacked hard. If we're just talking about an active home and they just want evidence, and that's why I'm there, then yeah, let's do that.
Right.
But I'll do it in a safe way. Or if I go into a place where no one lives, which I rarely do, I'm usually working with people, but I don't do that. And what a lot of these groups do is, because they want something to make themselves famous or popular, or whatever. So they go in there and they focus on nothing but the attention. Sometimes they even, because they don't have a proper understanding, or they lack a proper understanding of what's actually going down. They're missing other mechanics. They're missing other things that it could be, because they don't have a full, spectrum of information or whatever. So if they can't explain it, then it's got to be a demon. So they tell the people, oh, you got a demon, you got many demons. And you know what that does to the person living in that home? It's like, whoa, you just multiplied their fear level. It made things worse. And so I've gone in after so many groups that have done that. And I don't understand when you're telling people that you can help them and you don't have a full, understanding of everything to explain it away. It could be other things. And I could tell you a story that happened in Bridgeport, Connecticut. But you're going in there. If you're telling them you can help them, you have to be able to understand and diagnose so many other things. Because if you go in there and you don't know what's going on, you can't just go right to the demon theory. You have to say, I just don't know, and reach out to somebody else, because you just can't throw a statement out like that to these homeowners that are already probably traumatized. You're just making it worse. So.
But they do. They throw that word out so easily, especially if there's a camera there and they're filming it to put up on their YouTube page. That word gets thrown around so easily, and people don't take into the account the possibility that sometimes, like, there's just bad things that go on. There's bad elemental energies. There's bad people who have passed on and are staying behind. And not everything that seems scary or negative is demonic.
No. I mean, there was a book, Haunted House Diaries by William Hall, who I was a big part of that book and the investigation that happens in that book. And I also wrote some things that are in that book. But this lady in Bridgeport, Connecticut, read this book and said, hey, so she contacted William Hall and says, I got this house and nobody's lived there for 2 years. But it's evil. It's absolutely evil. And she had other groups, one well-known group from, that area and stuff like that, they're disbanded now. And the reason is for this case, but because of this case. Now she reached out to these guys, and they went in there, and I think there was like two married couples or something like that, and then there was other individuals. They set up shop for like 2 weeks, and they investigated this home, from what I'm being told. And they said that there was, it was really evil. There was demons there. Their evidence that they posted on YouTube, I viewed it. None of it was real. It was a lot of just dust floating around in the basement. I even showed Bill Hall when I got there with a camera. I said, "This is what they captured." When he first saw it on the view, the view screen on the back of my camera, he's like, "Oh, look at that!" And I'm like, "No, now look outside, and you saw the dust floating in front of the lens, and that's what they got." And I know there are, real orbs and stuff like that, but these were definitely not what they were capturing. Also, a bang when they were in the basement. They had a video going on. There was a bang upstairs. I recreated that. It was the screen door. Somebody had come in or opened the door or whatever, and slammed it, and it was identical. So their evidence was nothing, but they were absolutely convinced that they got to a state where they were all so just afraid, and they also started fighting with each other, and they blamed it on the demon putting them against each other and stuff like that. The two married couples actually ended up divorcing, from what I'm told. The group disbanded. Their website got brought down, and this is a group that had been around for a while, and they blamed this case for destroying everything. So finally she reaches out to William Hall. Bill Hall asked me, you got to do this with me. So I said, sure. We went down there, and I did one visit. We spent a lot of time there, and then I went down again and did it again just to confirm what I was diagnosing. So what I found was the home. There was no electricity to the home. It was shut off at the meter box outside, so no electricity inside the home. But yet there was huge amounts of EMF in the kitchen. And in the basement below the kitchen, which is what they were calling like the dark evil, the dark corner of hell in the basement. Now the lady's husband that lived there, he owned the house before he married her. He had a previous wife who they ended up getting divorced because this guy, I guess, was abusive and stuff like that. He remarried this lady. He would get violent, like just full of rage and hostile and stuff like that. His son did the same thing. He ended up destroying the whole finished basement downstairs with a sledgehammer. He would get angry for no reason. They would leave the home, and they would both be just charming and wonderful people. They get back to the house, and within a half hour, they were just full of rage, and they blamed it on demons. Now, so when I walked in there, and I could really sense that there was EMF in this home. So I, with my meter, I huge in the kitchen, huge spike, sometimes almost maxing out my meter. But most of the time, even the prolonged level is not healthy for us at all. Anything over, 25 on my meter is not good, but it was usually like up around 75 and things like that. So down in the basement, same thing. I end up seeing an access panel because I knew what I was going to be looking for. If the power shut off to the house, I don't believe there's an entity in this home because I did not encounter one on both visits. Then I'm going to go to where the grounding rod cable comes into the home and attaches to the plumbing. So, you may know this, but maybe some of the listeners don't. Our homes have a grounding rod that goes into the ground and attaches to the plumbing and the utility. So if it gets hit by lightning, it goes out through that grounding rod into the ground. Now, they sometimes can have EMF feeding back into them, even when the power's turned off, through like maybe a faulty transformer that's nearby. But in this case, there was also a business in the back. It could have been coming from that, but something was faulty either with the transformer or some other home or business where it was back feeding through the grounding rod into their house, into their plumbing, and right in that dark corner of hell, and right above that was the kitchen. And those were the hot spots. That's where everyone got angry. That's where everyone, had issues in those areas. So I explained that to the lady, and she said, yeah, but the other group said there was a demon. I said, you know what? And I'm not saying that at one point you didn't because of the negativity that was happening inside the home. You just very well may have had an entity when you were living here because of the emotional state of your husband and everything else like that. And then you being under stress from the way he was treating you. But I said, there's nothing there now. And And I don't think there was anything here when the other group was here either. I think they reacted to these strong levels of EMF because these strong levels of EMF will cause you to see shadowy movements in your peripheral. Through prolonged exposure to EMF, you'll start seeing hues like shadowy figures in front of you that you absolutely think that are some kind of entity. It messes up the firing between your eyes and your brain, and now, also, it also kills our immune system. It can cause our cells to mutate and cause cancer or tumors. Now, her husband had rare form of cancer he developed in this home, while he was living there, and he died. He died from it, and I believe the home killed him.